Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. Today we're taking this incredibly massive, sometimes overwhelming list of psychological principles and distilling it all down into a super practical everyday toolkit. Understanding the hidden wiring of the human mind is absolutely fascinating, so we're just going to jump right into these actionable insights. Let's get started.
But before we get to the toolkit, I'm actually got a question for you. Why is it that waitresses can remember complex, unpaid bills perfectly right in the middle of a crazy busy dinner rush, but then they somehow forget all those exact same details the literal second the bill is paid? It's a pretty fascinating quirk of human memory, isn't it?
Well, the answer comes down to something called the Zeigarnik effect. Basically, this is our brain's natural tendency to remember uncompleted or interrupted tasks way better than tasks we've actually finished. It's like this mental open loop that just quietly nags at us until it finally reaches a resolution. The unfinished simply holds way more power over our mind than the complete.
Now, to help you really hold on to these concepts, we're actually using a psychological trick right now called chunking. We've organized our journey today into 4 parts: master your own mind, the science of connection, the art of influence, and winning the long game. All right, let's dive right into chunk number 1, master your own mind. We're going to look at hacking your internal psychology and productivity.
So how do we actually apply that Zeigarnik effect we just talked about to overcome our own procrastination? Step 1, just start the task, even if you do it badly, for just a few minutes. Step 2, deliberately leave a small piece of it unresolved, like literally stop mid-sentence if you're writing an email. Step 3, let that mental open loop pull you back. Once a task is open in your brain, it becomes incredibly hard to just abandon it. You've essentially created a magnetic pull right back to your work. Okay, here's another fantastic mental hack for productivity: temptation bundling. This is the strategy of pairing a dreaded task with a highly desired indulgence. And honestly, the genius of this strategy is that it stops treating willpower like this constant, exhausting battle. Instead of wearing yourself out trying to resist a craving, you just ration that pleasure and convert a guilty habit into actual fuel for your productivity.
Think about how this looks in practice. It means only listening to a really gripping audiobook while you're sweating it out at the gym, or saving your absolute favorite podcast exclusively for that dreadful morning commute. Or maybe you only watch your favorite show while folding the laundry. Making a difficult task the exclusive gateway to something you crave totally turns your desire into an ally of discipline. It's a total game changer. Moving outward, let's hit chunk number 2, the science of connection. This is all about interpersonal dynamics and likability. So have you ever noticed the pratfall effect? This is the finding that competent people actually become more likable, not less, when they commit a small, minor blunder. We often think we need to be perfect, but flawlessness can feel really cold and intimidating to others. Once your competence is firmly established, a small, genuine mistake completely humanizes you and instantly dissolves that intimidation factor. Right, because flawless perfection often feels cold, it's intimidating, and it's honestly just hard to connect with. But a clumsy mistake, like, say, spilling a cup of coffee at the very end of a brilliant presentation, makes a highly competent person instantly relatable. Sharing a light, self-aware story about a small failure builds immediate empathy and trust with the people around you. Next up is the chameleon effect. This is our natural, entirely unconscious tendency to imitate the postures, gestures, and mannerisms of the people we're interacting with. And it's wild, because when we subtly mirror someone, we feel more connected to them, and they feel more connected to us. It creates this deep, unconscious sense of being on the exact same wavelength. To apply this effectively, you want to gently adopt aspects of their body language, match their pace of speech, and mirror their energy level. If they're super calm, you be calm. If they're animated, match that upbeat energy. But a quick word of warning here: avoid obvious mechanical mimicking. It's got to be a subtle, natural attunement to their rhythm. If you do it right, it builds a massive foundation of trust and friendship. Let's move right along to chunk 3, the art of influence. We're looking at active persuasion, negotiation, and guiding choices. This brings us to the incredible autonomy of the word because. This is a linguistic trigger where simply accompanying a request with a reason drastically increases a person's willingness to comply. You see, the word because satisfies our mind's deep-seated desire for requests to just make logical sense, even if the reason itself is incredibly simple. So here's exactly how you frame requests ethically. Step 1, make your request clearly. Step 2, immediately attach the word because.
And step 3, provide a genuine, honest justification for your ask. People deserve to know why you're asking something of them. Respecting people's intelligence with real, honest reasons makes cooperation flow freely and naturally.
But here's the catch. When you ask a question or make a request, you must learn to just wait. What is really fascinating about that silence is the psychological pressure it creates. It naturally draws out honest answers, concessions, and agreement. That silence creates a psychological vacuum that the other person feels an almost unbearable urge to fill. By resisting your own urge to keep talking, you're actually giving them the space to respond more fully. Finally, let's zoom out to our fourth chunk, winning the long game. This is all about sustaining success, building healthy mindsets, and practicing genuine generosity. First things first, we have to recognize the fundamental attribution error. This is that stark double standard between judging others versus judging ourselves. We tend to explain other people's mistakes as fixed character flaws, like assuming someone is just a naturally rude person if they cut you off in traffic. But we excuse our own identical mistakes as necessary reactions to our circumstances, like, hey, I was just in a rush. Recognizing this double standard and actually giving others situational grace makes you a far wiser, much kinder leader. Now, take a look at the focusing illusion. We do this all the time. Notice how we often let one minor negative flaw, that massive 90% slice, completely overshadow the tiny 10% slice, representing literally everything else in our life. When we obsess over one single problem, it unnaturally inflates its importance in our mental pie chart, and it completely distorts our entire view of reality. To serve as a bit of a mental palate cleanser, I want you to consider this idea. Nothing in life is as important as you think it is while you are thinking about it. If you ever find yourself just obsessing over a single flaw or a single desire, take a step back. Broadening your attention to the full, positive picture of your life is honestly one of the great secrets to keeping a steady and grateful mind. And that naturally leads us right into strategic generosity. This is the practice of giving freely and helping others without any immediate expectation of a transactional return. The people who consistently help others accumulate this deep, long-term network of trust and goodwill that ultimately repays them tenfold down the line. In practice, this means sharing credit and actively investing in other people's success. It means offering help and making introductions freely. Now, it's also absolutely crucial to maintain healthy boundaries so you avoid being exploited, but the overall takeaway? Play the long game over short-term selfishness. Counterintuitively, the real secret to accomplishing great things is to give far more than you take. So, we're going to wrap up today by leveraging what's known as the peak end rule to make sure this really sticks with you. I want to leave you with this one question. How will you use these tools ethically today to not just hack your own success, but to elevate the people around you?